I just got through the back of the trailer. Now I'm gonna do the inside the cab. Before I get inside the cab, I'm gonna do my pedals. My pedals are properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware, no trash or debris behind them. Next thing I'm gonna get is this fire extinguisher right here. This fire extinguisher is properly mounted, secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. It is in the green, which means it's fully charged and it's up to date. I'm gonna get inside this truck. I'm gonna use 3 points of contact. I'm getting in here like granny. I'm being safe. This is how you do it. Okay, now that I got in here, I'm gonna do, the first thing I'm gonna do is my seat and my seat belt. My seat and my seat belt are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. The seat belt locks and unlocks like it should. Next thing we do is my steering wheel. It's properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware, no more than 10 degrees play or 1 inch play. Next, I got my horns. My horns are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware, and they work like they should. Next thing we do is my windshield. My windshield is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. I got a good rubber seal, and I have no illegal stickers. Now I'm going to do a safe start. I'm going to safe start this truck up so my air pressure can be building up, and I need electricity to do the windshield wipers. Okay, safe start. First thing, there's 3 things for a safe start. Turn the ignition on and let the needle sweep. Okay, the needle stops sweeping. I'm going to look up here. I'm going to make sure I put this thing in neutral. It's in neutral. I put my foot on the brake. Now I can start the engine. Okay, so the last thing I did was start the engine, and I did the windshield. Now I need to do the windshield wipers. My windshield wipers are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware, and I got a good rubber seal on them. And it comes on, they work, and I push down to get the windshield wiper fluid to come on. But it looks like we're out of windshield wiper fluid. We need to get some in here. All right, I just went forward. Now I'm going to look to my left. I'm going to do my windows, my door windows. They're properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. They're clean and they go up and down as they should. All right. Now I'm going left to right. Next thing I'm going to do is turn my headlights on. Got my headlights on. What I'm going to be checking here is to make sure my indicator lights come on up here. So my indicators are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. I put it on high beam and the blue light comes on. I put it on low beam and the blue light disappears. Let me know when I'm on low beam. I got my left turn signals on. My left turn signal indicator comes on to let me know that it's on. I put my right turn signal on, and my right turn signal indicator light comes on that lets me know that it's on. Turn it off, it goes off. I put the hazards on. My indicator light's coming on here to indicate my hazards are on. Turn it off. I'm going to do my gauge cluster. It's all these gauges. My gauge cluster is properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. The first one I'm going to talk about is my oil pressure. It's approximately 60 psi right now. This is my coolant temperature. Currently it's 100. It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's coming up to normal operating procedures as the engine warms up. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my RPM gauge. My RPM gauge is registering at 500 RPMs because we're at idle. We're just sitting here with the engine going. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my voltage meter. It's registering 13.7 volts, which is good because it needs to be between 12 and 14. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my ABS light that is not on. If it comes on, it would mean that I have a problem with my ABS system on my truck. My miles per hour gauge is registering 0 miles per hour because I'm in park. I'm just sitting here idling. My fuel gauge is registering 1/4 tank of diesel fuel. My diesel exhaust fluid tells me that I have 1 green bar, which means that's 1/4 tank. This is my 2 air supply gauges. That's the primary. It's got a P there. Secondary. Primary is from a truck. Secondary is from a trailer. It is registering 140 psi, and the bottom one, secondary one for the trailer, is 140 psi. Next thing I'm going to do is my parking brakes. My buttons on my parking brakes are properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. I'm going to come over here to my heat and my defrost. My heat and my defrost, properly mounted, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. I turn the defrost on wide open, put my hand up here, and I feel air coming on. I put it on the feet for my heat, and it's coming on. I feel air coming on down there. Turn it off. Next thing I'm going to do is the lady's going to get out and go up front. She's going to do your headlights. High beam, low beam, left turn signal, right turn signal, to make sure they're working out there, and then the hazards. And then she's going to walk to the back. Same thing. Left turn signal, right turn signal, hazards, and brake pedal. And then she's going to come get the truck. She's going to come get the truck. The last thing you've got to do is a lab test. She sits in the truck. Ma'am, I'm ready to do my lab test. First thing I'm going to do, since my air pressure's built up, turn the engine off. Next step is turn the ignition to the AC so I have electricity up here. Now I got electricity up here. I'm gonna push my parking brakes in, which is releasing my parking brakes. I can't start my test until the hissing stops because the air is running through the air brake chambers to release the brake pads off the brake drums. All right, I hear no more hissing. The air is stabilized. My first test I'm going to do is my leak test. My leak test. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foot on the brake pedal and put my eyes right here to see how much I drop. And I'm timing myself for 60 seconds. All right, my 60 seconds are up, and I got to tell her what happened. My primary dropped 3 psi, and my secondary dropped 4 psi, which it passed that test because it can only drop 3 psi for a single vehicle, 4 psi for a combination. And while I was holding it down for the rest of those 60 seconds, it didn't leak anymore, so I have no air leaks. So I passed that test. Now I'm going to do my second test. My second test I'm going to do is I'm going to fan my brakes, and when it gets between 80 and 60 psi, hopefully a light will come on and an alarm will come on to let me know I have low air pressure. So I'm going to fan my brakes, nice and easy. My light and my alarm just came on, and I stopped pushing my pedal. It came on at 76 on my primary and 64 on my secondary. The next test I'm going to do is I'm going to fan my brakes, and when it gets between 40 and 20 psi, these buttons should pop out. So I'm going to start fanning my brakes again. My buttons popped out. On the primary, it popped out at 25 psi, and on the secondary, it's right at 20 psi, which is barely within limits, so that's good. It had to pop out between 20 and 40 psi. Ma'am, that's it for my lab test. Everything passed. That's it. That's the end of your thing.